Um, I'll try to be as brief as possible. I just have stuff happening now at home. But hi everyone who's in the call. I am Dr. Khwadi. I am a second year intern at Tembisa Hospital. Okay, the work environment. I think internship is going to be rough regardless of where you go. Um, yeah, you can just expect like because it's a big change, so it's going to be a huge challenge regardless of where you go, because now you are a full-on doctor, and there is still like a lot of supervision and whatnot, but you are now at the actual thing. The hours, most departments is from 8 to 4. Some departments like surgery, you can start Kabuma 7:30, be expected to see patients before the round, so you'd have to come even earlier. But everything mostly is department specific. Um, the earliest you'd have to get to Tembisa, from my experience, is like 7:15 for the morning meeting at ortho. That's the earliest one. The latest you can leave, peds, you can leave at around 6-7, because it can get really, really hectic. The calls, according to the HPCSA, you're supposed to only do 80 hours a month. But sometimes, especially with peds, Tembisa, you might go over that. The the doctor that was in charge of the calls would cook the numbers and make it look like we only did 80, but honestly we all knew that we were doing more. But it was because every ward had to be covered every single day of the week, so you end up doing more hours. But Handlandle, it's supposed to be 80 hours a week. Some departments you get pre-call, some you don't. So if for example, say with obs and gynae, you would come in at 4, and then leave the next morning at 8. In family medicine, which is where I am now, you would come in the morning, and then leave maybe about 2, and then come back at 8 if you like doing casualty. In anesthetics, you'd come at 2 and then leave the next morning. Well, with peds, you work from 8 in the morning till 8 the next day, or well, till the ward work is done after the ward round. So it's mostly department specific, but the hours for the calls is that you're supposed to do 80 hours in that month, right? Um, the number of interns that are working at a time depends on the how big the group that is taken for that hospital is. So there could be 8 interns at a time, there could be 12, and obviously that will then have an impact on how much your workload is, because the more you are, the more you can like spread out the workload between all of you guys. So that's really something we don't have control over that. One, it just depends on how many of you guys there are. The rotations in first year, I did internal medicine and then surgery and then peds and then obs and gynae. Those are the most intensive ones, like work intensive. Internal medicine, obviously, everyone is always dying there. Like, washu wafela in internal medicine, you just work hard. Um, the hours can get a little crazy, happen depending on your seniors. Some people will push for you to take lunch. Some people don't care whether you eat or not. They just want to know that the work is done. So honestly, hey guys, yeah, internship is a lot. It's a lot. But different rotations are better for different people, also depending on what you like. Maybe let me speak about each rotation. Internal medicine, Tembisa, we have a lot of patients, like too many patients, honestly. So casualty is usually very, very full. The turnaround time for patients is super, super quick. As soon as a bed opens up, another patient is ready to hop into that bed. In internal medicine, there's usually a intern in casualty during the day, and then the one who comes to do the call, usually Bakalaka 4, goes to the ward during the day, and then later on goes to casualty. Then the next morning, maybe after the ward round. So maybe ward round will start at like 8 or 6 if the consultant is nice, and then you leave when you're done with the ward work. Um, Day to day, it's 8 o'clock until 4 or until all the work is done. If you finish earlier, you can leave, but there must be someone who can stick around so that if the nurses need something, they can call that person up until 4 o'clock. Then after 4, the person on call is the one who's in charge of everything or is responsible for whatever the wards need, right? So that's internal medicine. There are how many wards? One, two, three, four, I think five internal medicine wards. So a lot of work there, like just a lot. And there are seniors there. Some help, some don't. But there's a lot of teaching, tons of teaching opportunities. Happy, it also depends on you. The more questions you ask and the more eager you are, people are more willing to teach. But if you're not about that life, then no one's going to force you. But that's in internal medicine, right? Um, then for surgery, the morning meeting starts at 7:30. There's a meeting every single day. The team that was on call will present all the cases and then get grilled on it. It's not very intense. It's mostly intense for the seniors, but at least you must know something. You must know why you did what you did. Yeah, but and then after the morning meeting for surgery, like you can leave immediately, unless obviously maybe you need to put an IC drain for your patient or whatnot. But the post-call time, yeah, surgery is usually like immediately after the meeting. And with surgery, if you're on call, you in the morning go to casual. Actually, things kind of changed for this new group. But for us, in the morning, you go straight to casualty and start seeing patients there. But for this new team, this new group this year, what they do is that one of the interns goes to theater to do septic list, and then the other one goes to casualty. And then once the septic list is done, then they both are in casualty the whole night. So, oh, I forgot to mention internal medicine. Usually it's two interns and two seniors who are on call, right? And then in surgery, it's two interns leading, but then during the weekends on Sundays, there'll be three interns because I guess they think that Sundays are more hectic. Um, Two seniors and two interns or a third one like on the weekend. Day-to-day surgery can be really nice. If you work really fast, then you can leave early. Most times we left around 2, 3. So if there isn't a lot to do, you can just quickly do all of that and then bounce. Most times they won't need anyone to do anything, but if they do, it's obviously the team on call that they'll call for whatever. And then pediatrics, I absolutely hate peds. In Tembisa, for anyone who's an aspiring pediatrician, you can go because you'll get a lot of experience. Like you'll get exposure. Mamela, you will stand on your feet on the first day. It's just the thing about it is there are too many babies and not enough staff, not enough resources. So we are all spread very, very thin in peds, and everyone is unhappy and they like to take out their stress on interns. I think that's why I just don't like that department. They're not very pleasant people, but I'm not saying don't go. Maybe you'll have a different experience. Um, but yeah, tons of babies, tons of responsibility that is put on you, and a lot of micromanaging. I think because it's kids, you don't want things to go wrong. But yeah, I remember like a lot of the time when I was in peds, I was anxious every single day because they put a lot of responsibility on you, but they're also kind of micromanaging you and just not being nice. So it's not a really great environment, peds. That's how my experience was. But you learn a lot. You learn quite a lot. The seniors, depending on who you get, they can teach you. Yeah, they can teach you. Consultants will grill you. It's fine. Yeah, shame. Peds, there's one ward for like general peds, then there's the neonatal ward, then there's the postnatal ward for NVDs and for C-sections. And basically the postnatal wards for NVDs and C-sections are run by the interns, because you have to see those babies and discharge them. So whenever if there is anything wrong with the baby, you need to be able to pick that up. But it's easy, man. You'll get the hang of it very quickly. It's a lot, because in Tembisa there's too many babies that are born overnight, and you have to discharge them when you're post call. Okay, let me discuss the call for peds. You arrive in the morning, you go to wherever you're allocated to for during the day, and then there'll be one person who's allocated to do the cover in casualty, right? And to do the cover in like labor ward and the other place, theater, right? Then from 4 o'clock, the person who's on call, one person will do the call for general peds, which will be in casualty. Then the other person will be for theater and labor ward for the neonates. And then there'll be one senior each. So basically, when you're on call for peds, you are the only intern, because it's two departments in one, the neonates and the pediatrics, right? So it'll just be you and your senior. A lot of the time the seniors will go with you wherever, but not always. So you need to be able to stand on your feet, like literally from day one. Hey, Sana. But it's fine. Survive. Um, yeah, that's pediatrics. Obs and gynae, wonderful, beautiful, great. I just hate standing all night cutting, because that's what you'll do when you're in obs and gynae, or when you're in obstetrics, go Tembisa. They cut all night, cut, which is wonderful for you because you get an opportunity to cut, but it can get very boring very quickly. The team is wonderful. The obstetrics team, obs and gynae team, beautiful consultants, 10 out of 10, chef's kiss, everything. They will teach you, they will make sure you know everything that you need to know. They have they have ESMOs. The registrars are always there trying to make sure that you know everything. No shame. Obstetrics, wonderful. The hours, there's a morning meeting at 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock or 7:30, can't remember. And then yeah, the previous team that was on call will present. The interns don't present, it's the seniors that present, but I mean, questions can be asked to anybody. And then yeah, post call is usually after that. Oh, well, post call is when you are done discharging the moms who delivered last night, those who can go. So for NVDs, it's the ones who are 6 hours after, if everything is fine, obviously. And then for C-sections, 2 days. Yeah. Yeah, obs and gynae was wonderful. Obs and gynae was beautiful. Um, and then I hope I'm not gonna go over time because now I'm going in so much detail. And then anesthesia, 10 out of 10, chef's kiss, everything. I was beautiful, team wonderful. Yay! If you want to do anesthesia, go to Tembisa, come to Tembisa. Because the experience you're gonna get there is wonderful. Like, you will get an opportunity to intubate. For the Caesars, you'll be able to do the spinal with your eyes closed by the end of the rotation, because you get ample opportunity. Live on night, it's more of a thing. Like, we do presentations in most of these departments. Actually, we do presentations, so that's relying on you, to put effort into your presentation, and then you learn whatever and you listen to everyone else when they're presenting. But they also do teach. Most of these departments, is also up to you. If you are very enthusiastic and they can see, oh, this person is really eager, they'll give you the information. If you're not keen, no one's going to force you. So anesthesia calls, you come in at 2, you leave the next morning at after the morning meeting, which is at 8 or 7:15 or 7:45, one of those. Wonderful. Anesthesia, anesthesia, wonderful, 10 out of 10, beautiful. Like, because of that department, the rotation, my experience of it, I'm like thinking, okay, maybe I can do this. Anyway, psychiatry, wonderful, beautiful, great. Chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. Working hours start at 8, 9 o'clock if you want to push it. You can leave maybe Gabo Mawani, unless you're like in clinic or on cover. So there's usually one intern that's on call, one intern, one senior, in a call, you might see 0 patients. You might see, I think the most has been like 7. Um, and yeah, during the day, you come in the morning, go to Ward 14, see your patients, and then there are outliers and the female wards. So 14 is just males. The female wards, the clinic, right? So everyone is allocated to a different space, and then when you're in clinic, you'll stay there until um 2, I think, or until the last person is there, and then afterwards you leave, and the person on cover will stay until 4, and then from 4 o'clock is the person on call that will cover everything. But guys, psychiatry, yeah, Tembisa, yo, beautiful. Kore, yeah, it's just super chilled, right? um and then it's family medicine. Oh, I just don't like family medicine. I don't like clinic life. I can't give like tons of context on it because I'm still in it. But pushing the line in family medicine OPD, that's it. There's a lot of independence, definitely. But there is supervision. Like if you ever want to speak to anyone, there are people here. And then casualty, because we do calls in casualty. Hey guys, casualties a lot. Casualties a lot. You see a lot, you do a lot, but it's beautiful because you're learning. Again, you get to do things, you can discuss it. There's a lot of support. It's a lot of work. In casualty, you can either be in peds, you can be in medical, you can be in trauma, you can be anywhere. And it's good because you get exposure to everything. It's just too much, too many patients. It's a lot, but good for exposure, I guess. I think that covers work environment and all of that. DQ, Yatembisa, 0, -10, 0. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I stay there currently because it just makes economic sense. Maybe it's stingy, but um, it's not maintained. um yeah, there's 0 maintenance there, but we've complained about it and now they're doing something. It's just, yeah, they always say they don't have money, and I'm like, okay, then charge more money. They charge, I think, 900 rands, which is taken from our salary, like before it reflects on our side, so they take it as like, before it comes to me. I don't know how. Yeah, that.
Like a
um
deduction.
yeah, as a deduction, exactly. So, but I'm like, if you feel like this 900 is not enough to keep the place maintained, charge me more. I'll pay the money. But yeah, I think the management, yeah, the hospital in general, it's kind of recovering from whatever setbacks they've had in the past. So yeah, the DQ not the greatest. But you don't share a room. You can either get a single room or double, where there's like a space that you'd use as a room, and then the other space you'd use as like a lounge type setup. I'm sorry, I don't have pictures now, but that's the setup. And then there's a communal kitchen that no one uses because there's nothing there. The stoves I don't think work. As I said, the place is not maintained. And then there are communal bathrooms. There was a lady who was cleaning the bathrooms. I don't know, she disappeared. So now you take it upon yourself. Mina, I have my domestos that I know I'll always take to the bathroom when it's time. And the showers, they do clean the showers when they feel like it. So as I said, have your domestos with you. No other brand works, guys. Domestos, take it there. It will work. Um, yeah, so it's not the best space, but it's quite safe. There's a security guard all the time, 24 hours of the day at the front entrance and at the back. There's a gate that gets closed at 10 o'clock at night. So then cars can't drive in, but you can drive out if you want to. But 10 o'clock, that gate closes, and um, not the main gate, but the big gate that leads to the nurses home. They call it the nurses home. It's the DQ, everyone stays there. It closes at 10. So then like access is it's kind of difficult. Um if you're trying to be like for shady people, because the security guards, they really look at us and they know us. So safety, I've never felt unsafe. There's been one instance of a patient finding their way there, a psych patient who was running. But now that they've added extra security, I doubt we'll have such incidences. Um, Water and electricity, it's like 35 bucks. That's also deducted. Distance from the hospital, it's literally 2 seconds. Living environment around zero. Not maybe because na ke rata dintho, wa bona. So nothing around there excites me. The nice thing about it is that the hospital is not deep inside Tembisa. It's literally just off the R21. Wabo. So getting in and out is easy, and you have access to Pretoria that side. Joburg, this Midrand is closest. So you can stay go Midrand. There are a lot of people who stay in Midrand. Glenmurray, that's like 10, 15 minutes away. Centurion is also not far. So yeah, you can opt to stay at those places around instead of go Tembisa, like the hospital. Around the hospital, like immediately around in the surrounding area, I've never heard of anyone who says they stay there. I guess if your accommodations are around, because it's a residential area, ke Matlaba too, but I don't know of anyone adulang around that side. Can you do okay without a car? You will survive, ne? But the Uber and Bolt and all of that, they are very hesitant to drive in. Um, so it can be tricky. Like sometimes it takes hours to get an Uber. So well, it becomes very much of an inconvenience. Um, yeah, but you can survive without one. Definitely, I think it's okay. Extra allowances. I think what's our kilabona on the payslip, something about airtime. I'm like, what? But yeah, I guess they're paying us extra for airtime. I don't know if it's everyone, like everyone in the country, but Kibone something Israel, and I was very um yeah, I was confused. Salary, how much is it after tax? I wish I had my payslip. I think I might have one on this thing, but hona jwale it's 47K after taxes. But happy I have like my life, not my funeral policy, give a feel a personal number yaka, so that they can deduct the money before I get my gross pay. So it might be different for other people. Yeah, I think it's also cool to search for it. But yeah, it's 47. Um it's a nice number, ne? It's a nice number, but in the beginning, I was like, "Woo, rich, ha ha ha!" Hey, and then you start living life, and you see like with more money, you get more expenses, and 47K is nothing, guys. Yo, it's nothing. But that includes the overtime. I think overtime is on the payslip. Like if ke hopola hantle, the basic salary is 35, and then the overtime is like 10 or 11 or 12 something, but together they'll give. No, I'm lying to you guys, because I think I wish I had my pay. I'm so sorry, but I mean we all earn the same
Yeah.
money, so whatever the previous doctor said they earn, we are all earning the same thing. I think the net
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
60 something.
Even if it's just a range, that's okay.
Yeah, it's around there. That
Yeah.
47 is how much comes into my account when I look. Which is beautiful, beautiful. My advice, guys, live below your means. Don't rata dintho too quickly, because like inflation yet.
Yeah.
um but yeah, it's a beauty. I think we're super super blessed that for a first job you'll be earning this much. There's so many people who've been working for years and will never even dream of a 40K hitting their account, so it's a big blessing. um yeah. And then quality of life. How much of your life does internship take? Too much. Too much. Especially in first year. It's yeah, it's a lot. Most of the time you'll be tired. Prioritize your well-being. When you are feeling sick, tell them I'm feeling sick. Stay home, go see a doctor. Don't over stretch yourself for this thing. Yes, we want to help people. Yes, we are doctors. You guys are going to take an oath, whatever. But your first priority must be yourself, because if you don't take care of you, you are never going to be able to help anyone else. Yeah, internship takes a lot from you. Um, Yo, it takes a lot, guys. But it's worth it, I guess, when the patient says thank you and they are healthy and things like that. Um, we usually have 2 weekends free. So then one you can use to rest, one you can use to groove, or however you want. But 2 weekends is usually the average, except for obviously crazy rotations like peds, where you are just working all the time. Maybe you'll have one weekend off, but usually it's 2 weekends. Um, yeah, I think that covers it. My final last tip, Jay, if I can give a tip. Um, your first priority should be your well-being when you're in internship, because you will want to do your best, which definitely do your best. You will want to show up for work every day, definitely show up when you can, but listen to your body. When you are tired, sit down and take a break. When you are hungry, eat. When you are thirsty, drink some water. When you feel like you want to scream, find a spot and go scream. Because if you don't do that, if you don't listen to your body, it will force you to listen, and then it won't be nice. It's not going to be in a way that is, cute. So listen to your body when you get that side. Please, please, please. And don't let anybody take advantage of you. You are all colleagues. Yes, you might be a junior doctor at the time, but you are colleagues. Now, where you are paying tax, as much as that person is paying tax, they must not bully you. They must not take advantage of the fact that you don't know how things work. So make sure that you familiarize yourself with the systems. Sisters are the nurses, nursing staff are your friends. The cleaners, respect each person that is there, because they're going to help you, so that when you are being exploited, they can say, hey, that person is not allowed to whatnot or what. Yeah, but it's wonderful. You are stepping into a very exciting time of your life. Very happy for you.
Mhm. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for just giving us a brief overview. That's also meant to
Mhm.
be very insightful at the same time. So thank you very much for that. We do have a few questions that we like to ask, and then I'll open up for anyone who's in the room currently. You can just be
Cool.
putting your message in the chat. I mean your question in the chat, and then we'll get to those. Um so firstly, you did mention that you get about 2 weekends. Did that mean 2 weekends per month, or 2 weekends like for the entire call? And
Hi,
how
son.
much leave do you like get?
Oh,
How
leave,
does leave
leave, leave.
work?
Okay. Um, it should be 2 weekends a month.
Okay.
That's how it should be. It's not always like that. As I say, depending on the demands of the department, but it usually 2 weeks a month. Then leave, yes, that's a very important question. So Tembisa, how it works is that in December, even, you'll probably get a call from Dr. Vainant asking you, do you have any requests for your leave for this year? I mean, for next year, because how it works, Tembisa, is that they allocate all your leaves for the entire year. So in January, you'll know that I'm going to be on leave in January. On this date. So, okay, no, let me explain it like this. For every department, for every rotation, again, there's 4 rotations, you'll have a week leave. So every 3 months, you have a week off. But you don't get to choose when that week will be. Dr. Vainant will decide. But when he gives you that call in December, you can ask him, well, no, listen, my friend has a wedding on this date. Can I please get this time off? Yeah, one. But it's 4 weeks spread out between the 4 different rotations. So 1 week every 3 months. And then, so those are the annual leave days. And then for sick days, I think there's 12 sick days. For most rotations, I don't know what's the rule. Shit, I can't remember. But I know for smaller rotations, you can't miss more than 3 days. But for these longer ones, I mean, when you're sick, you're sick. Just give them a letter. But there's a certain, was it 13 days? There's a certain number of days that you can't miss for a certain rotation. I just can't remember the exact figure now. Because if you do, then they'll expect you to work that back, or repeat the whole rotation. but that's how the leave days are spread. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And speaking of repeating rotations, are there any blocks that have assessments? And are there any blocks where people repeat? What is the like require? I mean,
Mm,
like,
yeah,
what is
I hear.
the? How do you find yourself
Okay.
repeating a block?
Um, yeah, they do that. You have to work hard to repeat a block. You have to work hard at not being great to repeat a block. But there are some of these doctors are petty and they'll just make a big deal of something that's really small. For example, in peds, you are supposed to do a presentation, right? If you don't do your presentation, you will repeat the rotation. If the consultants, now this is also specific for peds, right? If the consultants feel like they are not confident in your abilities, they will make you repeat the rotation. So if it happens that this consultant finds you on a bad day and they ask you questions and you don't know, or you know are fumbling, or like they just feel like you're not confident, they can make you repeat. That's peds, but they now like to give warnings. Yeah. But you can mostly it's also I want to say attendance, like how how like if you miss a lot of days you repeat. If they feel like they're not confident, they can make you repeat. um yeah, and to spite you, if maybe like you were disrespectful to the consultant for whatever reason, they can make you repeat. um and then as far as assessments, they assess you like it's not formal assessments per se where you sit and write a test, except for peds. But they just gauge in their interactions with you, where they ask you a question about something, or you guys have a discussion about something, or when that's when they like gauge, or okay, what's going on with this doctor. And they also speak to the seniors, the MOs, to get their feedback on you and your performance. They ask the nurses how was their interaction with you. If the nurses trust you, then you know you're good. But if the nurses don't trust you, hey sana, then you know it's shaky. So they speak to everyone when deciding who they get to sign off, and they also yeah, check on how their interaction with you was. That's yeah, that's most of them. The formal assessments in peds, you'll have a neonatal research thing. Hey, when they made us pay hey for this course, ba re batla ho fa di-certificate. I still haven't actually. I'm gonna go and ask them. I still haven't received my certificate even to, because I know I passed that thing. So PEDS makes you write a test. In Ops and Gynae, the ESMOs, you just must just attend. Yeah, that's really it. No one else
Yeah.
has it's just PEDS, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the TQ. I just want to know, is the DQ like how much furniture is there in the
No, you bring your own things. In
DMT?
some of yeah, in each one has a like a basin. So maybe like you can wash your face and stuff in the room, but otherwise there's nothing. You bring everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I saw that there's a message in the chat about this for family medicine. How much, like how far are the clinics that you're required to go to?
I haven't gone to the clinics yet,
Mhm.
so I'm not sure about all of them, but I know of one, this one, Isangweni, which is where we do our calls, I think. It's yona ikahara, the clinics are ikahara inside of Tembisa. Um, so I think if you don't have a car, you can obviously go with someone else, but I think the issue would be getting an Uber or something to bring you back, because in the sometimes you are on cover until 6.
Yeah.
Like this is what I've heard from the other groups, like that you can stay until 6, because then that's when the team on call comes.
Yeah.
um then that would be stressful, because most Ubers will not want to drive into Tembisa at that time. Mabon. So it can be tricky then. But I think most people by second year buy cars. But if Ilore, that's not what happens for whoever, most times we are all in this together. You should be able to find someone to drive with. But they are in Tembisa, and I think it would make life a little challenging.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. And generally over the blocks, would you say that you get a lot of opportunity to do procedures and the fact that like you're very confident in them, or it's like pushing paper admin?
No, definitely you will do procedures. Even if you are not eager, you are going to do them because the opportunity will be there and it must be done. You will do it. You will
Okay.
do it. Yeah.
And you did mention that they make you do a few courses. Is there time to study if you want to do other courses?
No, there's no time to study. It's kids that makes us do that course.
Mm-hmm.
And then family med or emergency med, they pay for, which I need to go and book for the BLS.
Mm-hmm.
They won't give you time to study for it, but at least they're going to pay for it. But otherwise, no, there's no time off to study. There's no study leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would you say competition for placement was?
More Tembisa.
Yes.
I didn't want to come. I listened, I prayed, I was like, God, I don't want Bara, I don't want Timbisa. And God was like, go there. So I don't think there's a lot of competition because not a lot of people want to come here.
Yeah.
If on your application thing you have a lot of Gauteng, then there's a good chance that you're gonna get placed with Timbisa.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. And how resourced would you say the hospital is?
Not that much. Guraf. Improvise, improvise, improvise every day. Every day. Yeah.
Okay.
That's yeah, shame. It's yeah, it's rough. It's
Okay.
rough. Mm.
I know that you definitely did speak about like quality of life
Mm.
and stuff. Would you say that you do have like a social life though? And especially when it comes to like what's the work-life balance like, and
Mm.
like going into like mental health, how's your mental health been throughout?
Okay. Work life balance. In first year, it was difficult because I spent a lot of time at work. If I'm not at work, I'm too exhausted to do anything. But
Mm-hmm.
I would like really push myself to at least do something, even if it's once a month, even if it's just going out for dinner at like a cute place. It because it's such a shock to the system. Like you're moving to a new place, you are now a full blown adult. People are asking you for money now, and you are dealing with people's lives, interacting with their families. Because when you do it as a student, like it's a little different from when you are Dr. Mangman. You know, people expect different things from you. So it is a big adjustment, and you adjust while moving, you know. So it can be a lot. It can be a lot. But my suggestion would be get your coping mechanisms on check, like on point. No, this is what I need when this is happening, which most probably you already have by now, because I know final year is not a joke. All of those things, don't leave it, don't stop it, carry it with you. It's not going to be easy. Like if you're used to going to the gym every day at 5, now, I mean, next year is going to be like a challenge because you want to sleep longer, you know, but certain things you must just push yourself to do because you know it's going to fill your cup up. Um, so it's going to be a challenge, but you must just make sure that you prioritize it. Um, yeah, yeah, it's in second year, it's beautiful. Second year is wonderful. Second year,
Yeah.
you can live your life. Second year, you can, you know, but first year is especially the first 6 months of first year. It takes a lot of adjusting. But if you know these are my coping mechanisms, this is what fills my cup up. This is what makes me feel whole. Like for people who go to church, find a church quickly, like as soon as you get there, so that you know you have your community. And yeah, you'll get through it.
Thank you very much. And then the last question is, how would you rate your experience in Tembisa, and do you feel as though you've gotten what you wanted out of internship?
Mhm. Yeah. So now when I was in final year, I was like to myself, I want to go to a hospital for internship that will prepare me for ComServe, because I had interacted with doctors who did not seem like they were ready for what ComServe comes with. So I was like, I want to make sure that I want to go to a hospital that would make sure that I am prepared for ComServe. And definitely, Tembisa is a place that will prepare you, because there's a lot of being thrown in the deep end. There's a lot of having to improvise, um there's a lot of growing that happens while doing, which is not always best, but it's a place that will really propel you into being that doctor that you are like you want to be, or that you don't even know that you can be, but you need to be for your patients. So yes, everything that happens is not great, and I complain a lot about a lot of things, but I feel like I am prepared for ComServe. I feel like I can stand on my own and treat patients. I'm not saying I am a consultant, but I feel confident enough to say I'll be able to keep this person alive. You get
Yeah.
what I mean? And that is what I wanted from internship. That's why, Father God, guys, hey, he works in amazing ways, because what I wanted is what I got from Tembisa, and I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
So think about what it is you want to get out of internship. And yeah, for me it was preparation for ComServe, and that is what I got. So yeah, Tembisa, I want to say it's not all bad, because as a doctor, like if wherever you go in the country, how fisa or Tembisa, people are like, okay, we know who this person is used to working under pressure. We know this person can stand like on their own, because there aren't a lot of doctors there. So there must have been a time where you were on your own and making things happen. You understand?
Yeah.
So if that is what you want, definitely Tembisa is for you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Um, you've given us a very, very good idea, and have really assisted us in making an informed decision. So thank you so much.
Mhm.
And
I
thank you.
hope I didn't make it look like it's all bad. It's not all bad, guys. It's not all bad.
No, no, no. You gave an honest review.
Very much. Yeah.
I think that that's the most important thing. So thank you. And thank you to everybody who attended. And we'll see you in the next session. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.